Why does your brain sabotage your goals? Today, I'm going to show you the neuroscience behind self-sabotage and exactly how to stop it. Have you ever set like a New Year's resolution, felt motivated for a few weeks, then by February completely gave up? Actually, I felt that. That's like me for like the past 10 years. But anyways, you're not alone, but here's the truth. It's not a willpower problem, it's actually a brain problem. Alright, surprise. The problem actually isn't you. It's not laziness, it's not like a lack of self discipline. It's actually your brain's wiring. Your brain is literally designed to resist change. And let me explain why. When you first start a new habit, your prefrontal cortex, the conscious decision making part of your brain, is actually in control. This requires massive mental energy. But as you repeat the behavior, control shifts over to the dorsal striatum, where automatic habits live. This is called the neural handoff. Okay, so for this neural handoff, you can think of it like a relay race. Your conscious brain starts the race, but eventually hands the baton to your automatic brain. However, what's the problem, right? Right, so the main issue is that most people quit before the handoff happens. And then as a result, they stay in the exhausting conscious phase and then eventually they burn out. So, comfort zone trap. This is the reason why. Your brain craves familiarity. New behaviors actually feel uncomfortable and unfamiliar. Old behaviors feel easy and automatic. It's just like me going to a new school after I graduated and I move on to the next school. It feels really stressful to actually go over to the school and attend classes and whatever. However, when I go home, it actually feels like much more relaxing. It's like I can just go home, play computer games, and just chill around, eat junk food. It feels very automatic for me. So actually, the problem is that your brain pulls you back to what's familiar, even if it's bad for you. This is what we call the comfort zone trap. So let's talk about dopamine. Like, dopamine is like the essence of feeling good, right? And most people think that dopamine is released when you get a reward. But that is actually wrong. Dopamine is released in anticipation of a reward. When you expect a reward and you don't get it, dopamine drops. As a result, so does your motivation. This is why long-term goals feel so hard. For me, it feels like when I'm chasing like perhaps a game, right? I'm going for the end game, trying to be the final boss, and while practicing for the final boss and gearing up and everything, it gives me that sense of dopamine. And then afterwards, I clear the boss, and then suddenly my dopamine level drops. And then afterwards, my motivation drops to play the game because I've already cleared the game and I've already gotten the reward. Because of the end goal, this is why I feel like my motivation drops because I've already achieved my goal. So, it's time to talk about how do we fix this. It's actually relatively simple in terms of the numbers of steps. Starting it is hard. However, let me guide you on these steps and see how we can further move forward to bring a better impact on our lives. So, 3 steps. The first step is to start ridiculously small. When I mean small, I mean ridiculously small, like waking up and brushing teeth. That is perhaps a really small goal, but it helps you when you clear the goal, even if it's a small one. The feeling from clearing a goal, it just builds up your confidence. And then the next step is actually to stack new habits onto existing ones. If you keep on stacking habits and then you clear them slowly bit by bit, the more you are able to clear the habits, or rather the task, and you slowly build habits, the more you feel confident because you feel like, oh, I can do this task now. I feel great about it. I'm able to actually do stuff. That's a really good sign, and that pushes you even further in order to, move forward and do even more things. Last but not least, this is very important. You gotta expect discomfort. Experiencing discomfort is a very common thing that happens in life, and people tend to go for comfort, right? They stay away from discomfort because they don't want to be hurt, they don't want to be uncomfortable, they just want to like relax and feel not stressed. But having discomfort also means it's a sign that your brain is rewiring. If your brain rewires itself to crave more hard work to be done, for example, instead of just shunning away, eventually when you rinse and repeat these actions, it helps you a lot to slowly rewire your brain to the point where you feel like this is something natural. And then you will feel like doing all these things get easier. And it feels more natural, you'll feel better about yourself, you continue to improve on this point, and then you'll continue to feel better. It's a very, I would say it's a very vicious cycle. If you're stuck in a very negative loop, it will just keep on looping and you feel bad about it. But if it's like a positive loop, you keep on clearing stuff, you keep on feeling positive, you feel good that you clear stuff, it builds up your confidence, it makes you feel happier. That's the kind of cycle you want to be in. So, let's get started on this 2-minute rule. This is a very, very good way to fix all these dopamine issues. So, let's get started. So, basically, for the 2-minute rule, any habit can be started in less than 2 minutes. It's a way to say it, but I would just say in the context of just starting something and just doing something and try to make it a system, trying to make it part of a routine, and eventually build it up to be like a habit. So, for example, easy examples are like putting on shoes, opening a book, writing one sentence. This kind of correlates to starting ridiculously small. You get to clear this thing repetitively, and then you feel better about it. And it keeps on stacking on itself. It keeps stacking. The more you do it, the more you feel better. And having simple things to do is not necessarily a bad thing. You can develop to more complex tasks eventually, of course. But like I mentioned, starting small is the best way because it gives you like a small task for you to clear, and then the clearing of the task itself provides a sense of dopamine too. And then it makes you feel good, like, oh, I can actually do this. Instead of giving yourself a really damn hard goal, and then you can't complete it, and then you start feeling like shit, right? And then you feel like, oh, I don't think I'm cut out for this. I think I'll just give up. But if you break this thing into 10 small tasks, if you break a big task into 10 small tasks, it helps you a lot. So start it off with a 2-minute rule. Like, for example, if you want to publish a novel, write one sentence. You can write 2 sentences, maybe even a page if you feel like it. Whatever is comfortable. Even just one sentence would do. If you were to write one sentence a day, and then, like 30 days, you can write 30 sentences. It might not be much, but in your brain, it tells you you can do this, and you keep on repeating, and you eventually get better at it. So this is how you actually slowly build up good habits. Now here comes the important part. Implementing it. So here's like an action plan you can choose to take. You pick one habit that you want to build. Alright, it might be hard, but try to limit yourself to one and focus on one. So you can focus all your energy on just clearing that one habit in order to build up your confidence. Also, you got to reduce it to something you can do in 2 minutes or less. This is actually key. 2 minutes is like a relatively perfect timing for you to commit to a task, a really small task, and complete it. And then the most important thing is to tell yourself to do it today. Do it. I wouldn't say do it like now after watching this video. You do it now. No, I wouldn't be as unreasonable to say that. You can write down a note on a to-do list today. But it's important to note that you must do it today. To start off, it's a start and a beginning of something positive that's going to continue to improve your life in a compounded kind of way. So remember, you gotta do it today, not tomorrow. This is how you trick your brain into slowly rewiring itself and changing. If you don't start now, then when? If you tell yourself, I just start tomorrow, and then tomorrow you say the same thing, and then it keeps repeating and repeating, and then next year you start to feel like you have done nothing and you feel really bad about yourself. That's kind of what happens to me. So by doing these videos, I also remind myself to actually, stop the BS and just get onto it. Just a 2-minute thing. Then I write down like a note, like on my notepad. I put it near my PC where it's very obvious for me to see. Then I remind myself, okay, I gotta do this today. And then I just keep doing it and try to stay consistent. Sometimes I might miss a day or two, but it's important to tell yourself, you just gotta keep working on it. Slowly but surely, it will get better if you have systems implemented for you. So the key takeaway is that you just need to remember that your brain will always resist change. That's its job, actually, so don't blame it. It's actually to keep you safe and comfortable. But if you were to take small steps bit by bit, they actually bypass that resistance. That's why you always start with small goals. That way, you're actually not fighting your brain and being very counterproductive in terms of doing the things that you need to do and slowly improving yourself as a person. You're actually not fighting it, but you're working with it. If you slowly work with your brain and then you slowly rewire it, it's gonna help you way more as it slowly compounds. That way, you'll be able to take small steps. Take good small steps. And, sometimes you can take a step back. It can't be helped. But, you don't always have to be forward moving. As long as you don't give up and you keep moving, it will slowly, but eventually it will get better. It's important to convince yourself that every step you take is actually important and is part of the journey to becoming a better person. So hopefully, this video will be able to teach you a little bit more about doing all these kind of things to slowly improve your life. And of course, the brain can be an ass at times. Let's be honest. The brain is mostly being an ass to us most of the times, but that's just how it is. What you can do is just take steps and rewire, change your environment, change your surroundings, slowly, step by step. That's the most important thing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, subscribe, and let me know what else you would like to hear in the future. Have a great day, everybody. Take care and stay safe. All the best.